What's good? What's good? Welcome to the Epic Entertainment Critics. I am Antoine. I am doing retro reviews today. I watched Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I keep wanting to say Rogue Nation. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. This came out in 2011. This was the fourth installment for the Mission Impossible franchise. I watched it yesterday, so thought I'd go ahead and just do a review. But before I do my review, I got an intro. All right, I'm back. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Like I said, this was the fourth movie in the franchise, and this probably to me this was one of the better movies, one of the better Mission Impossible movies. I like this one better, definitely better than the second and the third one. I really like the first one. That was in 1996, and this one coming out it changed the tone a little bit. And the reason why I say that is because Tom Cruise, when he came to this franchise, now I'm not sure if this is true, but when he, got on board with the Mission Impossible franchise from the first one, he changed a lot of the story narrative to be more about his character, Ethan Hunt, opposed to the team. Now, if anybody watched the old Mission Impossible show, and as a matter of fact, Mission Impossible was based on, I think, a 60s, either the 60s or 70s TV show about a team of spies that went on secret missions to, it was probably during the Cold War, so they was always going to different countries where, they had to be undercover because if it was, because it's the Cold War, you can't have Americans just in this country without something's up. So they was undercover and they had disguises. It was the show, they used disguises a lot as one of their main themes. So they kind of used that whole theme in this whole franchise. So as I said, this was the fourth movie in the franchise, and by this time, Tom Cruise had kind of got his legs under him with this franchise and kept it going or whatever. Like I said, I really like this movie because it stood out to me because of the whole team is being used. So now we got Paula Patton, Jeremy Renner, and Simon Pegg as team members. And if you watch the first Mission Impossible, he had a whole team that they died in the first 15 minutes of the movie. And it was like, okay. So, that was already Tom Cruise kind of saying, yeah, this is about me, And that's kind of my issues with, the way the franchise was going. It started to turn into the Ethan Hunt show, And I was like, okay, I'm enjoying some of this action you're doing, but can we see more than a stunt reel from Ethan Hunt, So in this movie, I feel like they kind of did that where they gave characters other things to do. And at that point, they gave Jeremy Renner, they let him do something. They let Paula Patton do something. They let Simon Pegg, he kind of do something. He's the tech guy. Of course, he's the comic relief and the tech guy. But they had scenes where, surprisingly, Tom Cruise was just kind of coordinate the act. He was coordinating the action and not doing anything. And I was like, okay, now we can kind of see a whole team coming together, not just one guy, So that's why I was enjoying this movie. And so the plot of this was the mission Impossible Mission Force. That's the name of the division. This is not a real division in the government, by the way. I guess they spies, and they got set up. They was on a mission, and a guy that was one of the villains got in the middle of their mission. I don't know how they didn't. I don't know if they even explained how that guy knew what their mission was and how to intercept it. But he came in the middle of their mission and set them up, set a bomb off, and made it look like it was them. So that's why they call it Rogue. I mean, sorry, not Rogue. That's why it's called Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol is when is basically, I guess, when they agents are rogue and then they gotta catch them. I think something like that. Basically, Ghost Protocol is when they got to bring in all the agents for a to stand trial because they feel like they went rogue. That's what Ghost Protocol is. And so now they're on their own. They have to prove that they didn't do this and stop this guy from using these nuclear launch codes that he has. It's kind of typical, Mission Impossible stuff. But it was a fun ride, like they always are. But I'm watching this movie, and I'm saying they plans are always stupid to me because they always have a plan of, okay, what we're gonna do is they always play dress up, right? They say we're gonna let them think that they buying the actual lunch codes, but they're gonna be buying it from us. But then they had, they had an expert to come and check the codes. Say, oh, well, we gotta give them the real codes, So, it's like, so and then once they get the real codes, it's fine. We'll just intercept them and take them. They got plans. They all their plans are always so risky and stupid. But I guess that's part of the reason why they got that name, Impossible Mission Force, because the mission is always impossible. It's like it was like I said, it was some fun. The storylines they kind of seem to repeat a little. It was always some nuclear bomb, a threat of a nuclear explosion or bomb. It's never grounded. It's always a world-changing thing. It's always something. Somebody always get their hands on some nuclear weapons. I always noticed that in these movies. The first one wasn't so bad. It was just about the list of agents in the first one, but after that, it's now and the second one was about I think a virus, and this one is about nuclear launch codes. But everything after that is about nuclear launch codes. So, yeah, like I said, it was fun. They had a scene in Dubai, as you can see there. It was like they had this big car chase in a sandstorm, which was pretty damn cool. I really liked that. But other than that, it was some of the same stuff. And there's a scene right here where they was at this party, and that was the scene where you get to see all the other agents do stuff, and Tom Cruise was just kind of like coordinating it at the party, which I was like, okay, good change of pace. The best scene I guess was right here was when he's climbing up this building. He's got these gloves that's they sticky when it's green, and then when you let go they red or whatever. And for some reason, no reason, they just malfunction, and he just have to use one hand to get up the side of this building. It was a fun, exciting scene. But same old, same old. They got Tom Cruise running. Gotta have him running. Run away from explosions, running from cars, chasing cars, whatever the reason, but Tom Cruise got to run. So it was fun. It was a fun movie. I really, like I said, I like all the agents had something. They had something to do and gave them a role to complete the mission, which is so funny. That was his last line: "Mission accomplished." Like, really? So like I said, Ghost. I keep want to call it Rogue Nation. Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol was a fun movie with kind of a cliched, plot for spy movies. Some villain always get their hands on a secret codes to nuclear. Like some villain can always find a way to get their hands on nuclear weapons, and they always worried about what they're going to do with it, either sell it or use it. But it's like if you sell the nuclear weapons, they're probably going to use them to blow up where you live in. It's just it don't matter. It just get to a point like it don't matter how rich you get when you sell certain things to certain people, you putting yourself at risk. So what I'm saying. Well, anyway, that's what makes a villain. Good movie all the way around. I like how it kind of picked up for the third one left off. The third one was probably the weakest one in the franchise, and they had this. They have the story. They kind of picked up where the story of Ethan Hunt's wife on the third movie. What happened to that whole situation? That whole, the whole way they kind of did that was to me was a little too. It was a little too clean, where it was, oh yeah, I had a wife, but you wonder what happened to his wife because at the end of the third one he was like, oh, I'm gonna retire and get married because usually they do 3 movies and they be like, I'm done, but since they kept going, they was like, well, you got to have a wife. I mean, you had a wife, so what happened? Well, they got an out for that where the wife was they had a way to, okay, I don't have that wife anymore, and now I can continue to be a spy. I thought it was just kind of corny how they handled that whole situation, where it was kind of like, that's a little too clean, and even at the end they kind of showed it. It's like we don't need to see him looking at his wife from a distance, and then they even had her see him and like, hey, what's up, okay. But so anyway, it was a pretty good, it was a great movie. It was fun. The action was great. It was kind of like same cliche plot. That might be the real big complaint though. The villain, there really wasn't a villain. It was a dude, but you don't really know who he was, nor do you really get a good sense of what he's all about. It seems like he was so dedicated to destroying the world, and you didn't really know why. And it's like, okay, he was like so to the point where he was ready to sacrifice his own life to make sure the world burned or whatever, but they didn't really say why he felt that way. He's like, what is his motivation again? I kind of missed that. So anyway, to me, the movie was real good, but the lack of having a good villain or good motivation for the villain, and the cliche plot, kind of took it down as a plot wise, but action wise, which all of them are, is pretty good. When they go on their secret missions, and finally they let other people do some things in the mission. As you can see on later movies, they pull back and just make it the Ethan Hunt show. So from there, because of those reasons, I took the movie down a couple notches. So in my movie rating scale, I give it all right. It was all right. I'll give this movie a dope. Okay, because of the action and because of how fun it was. It's kind of turned into not as bad though. It's kind of turned into the Fast and the Furious level where it really doesn't matter no more about the plot. It's all about the stunts and the spectacle of it. The plot is just a reason why they need to do that, But really, it's just really, it's all about, having fun with it. Because the plot, they just rehash these same villains that say, hey, I want to destroy the world. Why? I don't know. So anyway, I give it a dope for the action, but other than that, it's same old for its plot, but action was real great. So I give it a dope overall. That is my review for Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Not a bad watch, but not, if you're looking for a good plot and some deep thinking, do not watch it, or just don't bother. If you're looking for some good fun action, that's your movie. All right, that is that's my review for Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. I am out of here. Please subscribe to the channel and give me some thumbs up if you like the video. Thank you. I'm out of here. Peace.